Hi friends, and welcome back to 4F Beauty. As you can see today, I've got a very bright look for you using Colourpop Yes Please and Jeffree Star lipstick, but not just as a lipstick. So if you want to see how I achieved this look, you're in just the right place because the tutorial's coming up right after my song. You must know it by now. You gonna sing it with me? When will I be YouTube famous? Here comes your tutorial. Hey, welcome back from the intro. Sorry it's suddenly boom, so close. Okay, as you can see, I've already got my foundation and my concealer on, and today I've got Milani Conceal and Perfect in porcelain and some Colourpop concealer in shade 5 Fair. Now I do like this lace powder from Revolution. It's, to me at least, it feels very, very similar to the Laura Mercier. So I'm just tapping that off into the lid of an empty e.l.f. powder container. The reason I do that, rather than just, shaking it off onto my phone case that I use as my palette, is because if I shake out too much and end up not using it all, I can put the excess into the pot and put the lid on, and then when I've finished the tub of powder, I'll have, you can see I'm collecting quite a bit in here already from where I've had too much on them. Just means then that that's when I know when to rebuy. I wait until I've finished that powder, then I go and buy some more, but I'll have enough in here to tide me over until my delivery arrives. This really is, it's ever so finely milled. I mean, you can probably see from the way it puffs up if I have a wee bit too much on the brush. It's really, really finely milled. I'm very tempted actually to try some of the Beauty Bakery flour powder, because I think they do one light enough for me now. Have any of you tried that? If you have, drop me a note in the comments. Let me know whether it's any good. As always, my nose is the worst bit in terms of keeping foundation on, so I use a dense kabuki brush and just push the powder in, just because I find that it really does help in terms of retaining foundation on my nose longer than a few hours. And then for the rest of my face, I just use my big fluffy brush. And I always I stipple it on first, because if the foundation hasn't quite set down, and some foundations don't set down, some of them stay tacky, so you do need to actually set them. And there is a risk, if you suddenly go in with a big whoosh, you could actually dislodge it and move it around. So I always stipple first and then sweep. I just find there's less risk then of it all moving around. How's your day been so far? Good, I hope? Or if it's just starting, I hope it's going to be a good one. Yes, as you can see, I've just got a little bit left. So, if you hear that weird noise, it's me just tapping it into the tub. Because my husband, I was editing a video the other night, and hubby heard that noise and went, "What on earth is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, don't worry, it's just me with my powder." Right, I'm going to go with my favourite bronzer, which is the Barry M Afterglow Light. Keep getting fluff. I had a new towel this morning, and I think I've got half the fibres up my nose and stuck to places you don't really want fibres stuck to. As you know, if you've watched any of my videos, I don't contour because I've got quite high cheekbones anyway, so I just bronze. I have had a request though to do a video explaining the differences between contouring and bronzing and where you put it all, so I will. I promised you I will get round to doing that. I've got a lot of I've got a lot of makeup that I need to do reviews on. I went a little bit mad last year buying makeup. Every time I had painsomnia, I'd sort of buy stuff at 2, 3 in the morning, and cost me a fortune last year, I did. Right, this is my bronzer brush and more tapered one for blush. And I'm going to go in with Tarte Exposed. You can see how much I've used this from the fact the pattern's dampening off of it. It's a really pretty blush, particularly if you're cool toned and as pale as I am. It's a lovely soft sort of pinky mauve, or mauve as the Americans would pronounce it. It's the colour that I go when I actually blush, which I used to blush an awful lot more than I do now. I used to get embarrassed about all kinds of things, and now I'm just like, whatever. Right, time to do some brows. As always, spoolie, just to brush through them, get any excess powder, excess foundation, any clumps out of them. Try and persuade them which direction I want them to be going in. And as ever, those of you who have watched any of my videos know exactly what's coming next. It's my Essence pomade pencil in dark brown. For those of you in the UK, I actually get these from Wilkinson's. And I'm just going to follow the line of my brow. And then, using very light strokes, colour them in. I mean, because I've actually got reasonable brows now, because they've actually started to grow back after the overplucking nightmare of 1997. I don't need to make it look like individual hairs. If you have got big gaps in your brows and you want it to look more like individual hairs, I mean, you can use this because it does have a sharpener at the other end. Underneath this brush bit here, there's actually a sharpener. Okay, so you can sharpen it, but you do end up using a lot of product like that. But you're better off getting a finer pointed one like Anastasia's Brow Wiz or Benefit's Precisely My Brow. I think Elf do a really fine brow pencil, and I think NYX do as well. And then you can actually make it look more like individual hairs that you're brushing on. If you do have particularly sort of bare bits. I mean, I did a little while ago. If you look back through my Insta, you'll see some horrific Sharpie brows there where I was using pomades. But the reason I was going in so heavy with it is because the medication I was on at the time was actually making my hair fall out, which distressed me considerably. So, thankfully, I'm on different pain meds now. They're not as strong, which is why you'll very often see me sort of stop and stretch and have a wiggle because of pain levels, but I shall plough through it for you. And now I'm going to go in with Benefit Ready Set Brow. This was a freebie on the front of a magazine. I think they've renamed it now to Brow Setting Gel or something. You don't have to use the expensive ones. I literally just bought the magazine because I wanted to try the gel. You can use clear brow setting gel, you can use clear mascara, you can use hairspray on a clean spoolie, you can even use hair gel on a clean spoolie if you want. Just helps keep your brows where you want them and in place, basically. Right, I do need to go out later, so I'm going to actually do double setting sprays. If I know I've got a lot to do and I'm likely to be going out, in which case pain levels are going to shoot up and I will start sweating more. When I get to this stage where I've done all of the base products, I then setting spray. Partly because it does help to blend all of the powders together, so if you've got a bit that does look a bit too powdery, your setting spray will help blend it together. This is also a good time to use something like MAC Fix Plus, which isn't a setting spray, it's actually a finishing spray. So it doesn't extend the wear of your makeup, but it does help blend all powders together and just, you know, settle things down a little bit. So this is the only time you'll see me put minimal amounts of this on. Ready? You ever seen me use that little setting spray? Right, I am going to go in with the Yes Please palette, which for some reason, they call it Yes Please on the back with the names of it, but on the front it's cute AF. Confusing AF is what that is, Colourpop. No mirror, but as you can see, really lovely warm tones in there. This is the economical version of the Natasha Denona Sunset palette, if you want that but don't want to pay $129 or 111 quid for it. 111 quid for blooming eyeshadow. 111 quid, I want Natasha Denona in my kitchen putting my eyeshadow on me. Right, fluffy brush, and as always, my colour switch to change colours. And I'm going to go in with this. What I will do, I will annotate on screen down here which colours I'm using, because although it's got the names of the colours, it's on the back. And it's really annoying keep having to do this all the time. So I will tell you which one I'm using, but I'll also annotate it down here. And my plan today, because it's really dull and dismal and horrible out there, I want to try and bring some summer sunshine and encourage spring to spring into where it should be, i.e. now. Right, let's zoom you in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Now when you look at my eye, when I look straight forward, you can see all of my mobile lid, so it's not hooded. If when you look forward you don't see that, you'll probably find it quite difficult following some tutorials unless they are specifically for hooded eyes. Because if you follow it exactly as per the tutorial, because for me, for example, I start my crease colour off and I just follow the physical shape of my eyeball. You try and do that, as soon as you open your eye you're going to lose it all. So what you need to do is get a pencil brush and with your eye open, choose the colour you're going to use as your transition shade and just sketch, just with the tip of it, where you need your shade to start. So you can still follow the tutorial, you just have to move your crease up a bit. And you'll probably find you'll need to use a slightly smaller one, because obviously that will then reduce the amount of space between here and your brow. I've got a friend of mine who's got hooded eyes, and she actually chooses to shave her eyebrows off and draw new ones in, because that way it gives her more space to play here. Okay, so as you can see, I've put some yellow on and I have tapped off, as you heard, get rid of the excess, try and reduce the amount of fallout. Seriously, where is all this blooming fluff, that blooming towel I used this morning, I swear. Right, so we start off with windscreen wipers. So we go in at the outside corner, because if you're going to deposit too much colour, it's much easier to blend it out this end than it is over by your nose. And we start off just by sweeping across in windscreen wiper movements, like this. For me, following the shape of my eyebrow. For you, following the shape of the line you've sketched out if you've got hooded eyes. Now, because I'm old and because I've lost a lot of weight, my eyebrow moves and I can end up with bits that don't have colour on. But the next bit should fix that, because now what we're going to do, without adding any more colour to the brush, we're going to do tiny little circular movements like a helicopter all the way along, and then reverse the direction and go back, but lift the brush up a little bit, and this way we're going to blend the colour up towards our brow. We're going to make sure we get all of the bits of our skin covered that we want. Now I normally stop about 5 or 6 mils below my brow, or about the width of my brush, and I always hold the brush right at the end so you put as little pressure on your eye as possible. You don't want to drag the skin of your eye around too much because that will encourage more wrinkles, and let's face it, girls and boys, we do not want more of those, do we? I say girls and boys because I don't know, there could be some chaps following me. If you are, hello, nice to meet you. Hope you're finding this helpful. I don't see any reason why men can't wear makeup. Bearing in mind I grew up in the 80s when men wore as much, if not more, makeup than women did. So for me it's perfectly natural to see a guy with guy liner and black lipstick, and when I first met my husband he used to wear black nail varnish. In fact he's better at putting nail varnish on than I am, so I normally get him to paint my toes for me. So repeating it on this side. Plus with my back I can't really bend and twist like I used to paint my toenails now, so unless I get my nail tech, unless I get like gel polish on them, which I do in the summer because then it doesn't chip so much if I've got open-toed shoes on, or you know, flip-flops. Not that I wear flip-flops very often because I normally go I nearly swore then, I nearly go tail over tea kettle. So we're just going to blend that yellow up. Really beautiful summery yellow. I do like this palette, which is a surprise to me because normally I like cool tones more than warm. But there's just something about this palette. I resisted for ages and ages and ages. And then I found a $5 off code for Colourpop, which took it down to $11, and I'm like, oh, I wanted to try the concealer as well, so I ended up buying this and the concealer at the same time, and I'm very glad that I did. How many colours do I want to use on my lid today? Do I want to go simple or do I want to go a little bit more adventurous? No, I think I'll go a little bit more simple today actually. Right, using my pencil brush, I'm going to pick up this lovely sort of pumpkin-y orange colour, and I am just going to sketch out across my crease where I'm going to lay the colour down. That looks so beautiful on camera. And then going about a third of the way along my lash line, and just really gently colour that corner in like that. And then using a smaller fluffy brush, so this is the first one I use, this one's a lot finer as you can see, dip the tip of those bristles, tap off, stick it in the corner and give it a waggle. Little waggling backwards and forwards like a wagtail. Waggle on the top lid, wiggle on the bottom one. Just going to blend that corner together like that. And what we're going to do, we're going to do our circular movements again, but rather than taking it up all the way like we did with the yellow, we're going to just do it along that crease line there. So we gently buff that colour out. And I'm going to take all of the extra colour off of that using my colour switch. So you can see I've got no colour on there. And what I'm going to gently do now is just gently blend over where the two colours meet and just buff them together. Because we're not doing a cut crease, we don't want any harsh lines. I just want it to slowly fade into the yellow. I don't want any harsh line, so you can say that's where the orange stops and that's where the yellow starts. I just want the two to blend together really softly like that. Now I'm going to repeat that with this eye. Sketch it across. Obviously, you've got hooded lids, you'd sketch it a little bit higher up. Third of the way along the lash line, and just because what we're actually doing here is we're laying the bulk of the colour down. I'm going to clean that pencil brush off because I'm done with that now. We're laying the bulk of the colour down by adding a wee bit of colour to the tip of these bristles just to help with the blending, but the majority of the colour that we've laid down is already there. This does help as well in terms of reducing the amount of fallout you get. So if you have got a palette that has a lot of fallout, that is a good tip. You can always lay the colour down with one brush and then use a second brush to blend it. And then because you've used a more densely packed brush to lay the colour down, it does help minimise fallout from that colour. Doesn't eliminate it completely, but it helps a lot. I think I need a wee bit more. Box fell over. Just to blend that up. Don't think I put quite as much down in the first place, to be honest. That's better. So again, just nice little circular movements along the crease line, fluff the corner, back along the crease line. Trick with blending is you do it till you think your arm's going to fall off and then you just go for a little bit more. No such thing as too much blending unless you've got a palette where the colours go muddy, and this one thankfully doesn't. So take all the colour off, have a wiggle because of my back, and gently buff over where the two colours meet to give a nice seamless transition, one that John McLean would be proud of. John McLean with his lovely soft Scottish voice. Okay. Do you know what? I think I've got need a wee bit more. Yeah. Just to balance those eyes out a little bit. It's amazing you see stuff on the high def camera that you don't actually see with your own eyes. Which can be quite scary sometimes, I tell you. Right, now I'm going to get a nice flat brush like this, because this is great for getting up under your bottom lashes. Now I would normally use a darker colour or a contrasting colour, but today I'm going to pick up exactly that same orange and just give it a little wiggle under the bottom lashes there, going about 2/3 of the way along with that darker colour. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Ah, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Ah. And the same this side. God, what is wrong with me today? I'm either putting too much or too little down. Oh, let's just increase this side a little bit then. That's the beauty of makeup. There's no mistakes, just happy little accidents. Or the god of makeup deciding that they want you to have it a little bit stronger today. And if all else fails, you just take it off and start again. It's not the end of the world, is it? It's just makeup. Now I'm going to use this brush and I'm going to pick up some of that first yellow. Gently smudge all the way along that bottom line. So wiggle it along those bottom lashes. And we're just repeating the colours then that we've got on our top lashes, or lashes, our top lid even. Oh, sorry folks, I'm really not with it yet. The painkillers haven't kicked in this morning. I say this morning, technically it's afternoon now. So weird, normally my hubby's off on a Monday. But he's actually had to go in this week. And it's really confusing. It's throwing my week out completely. I always do like a nice slow cooker stew for him on his first day at work, because then when he gets in from work he's always really hungry. He can just have a huge great bowl full of it, and then the rest of it we package up and he takes to work with him for his lunches for the rest of the week. So it's really weird doing that on a Monday instead of a Tuesday. It's very, very weird. Right, now, which of these shimmers do I want to go in with? Do I want to go orange or do I want to go gold? I think I'll go gold. So using the same brush that we did the yellow with on our bottom lash line, I'm just going to pick some of this up on my brush and then give it a spray with fixing spray so it goes on wet. You don't need to do that with foiled shadows, but it does increase the vibrancy of them. As you can no doubt see. Really creamy, the Colourpop ones. I just wish that there'd be a UK stockist of them so I could make a bigger order rather than lots of little ones and paying lots of delivery fees, just so that I don't end up paying an extra woomph on arrival. What do we think? Need to carry that along a little bit more, maybe. Right, so I'm going to take the colour for that. And then using the brush that we put the orange on with, without any colour on it, I'm just going to gently buff through the crease and where it meets that colour at the edge there, just to help blend the two. I've got a wee bit of transfer up onto the upper lid there, but that's not too much of a worry. Like I said, it's not a cut crease that I'm doing. I might add a wee bit of extra orange actually on the outside of this one, and that'll help disguise that transfer then onto the upper lid. There. How's that for a nice bright, quite simple but quite effective eye look? And then I think I'm going to have to go into my Jeffrey 24 Carat, because Liberace is calling my name. I'm not mad, my makeup isn't really calling to me. Promise. And then using a little brush like this, I'm just going to pick up some Liberace and pop that beautiful bright yellow gold just on the inner corner there. Just to finish that look off. So even though I'm super, super pale, I actually use this 24 Carat Skin Frost palette. Sarcophagus is actually light enough for me to wear as a highlight, and the others I use either as inner corner highlights or I use as gorgeous foiled shadows. Just to show you the colour of Sarcophagus, I'll just pop some of that up here so you can see it is actually light enough for me to wear. So if you're super dark skinned, this may be a wee bit ashy on you. You may have to limit this, like I do my Liberace, to sort of inner corner highlight and lid colour. But how pretty is that? Right, I'm going to disappear off and do liner and mascara, and I'm going to be right back. Don't go anywhere now. Hey, I'm back. I bet you weren't expecting that. What I did, because all of the Jeffree Star lipsticks, apart from a couple of the red ones and the pink ones, are eye safe, and the only reasons the red and pink ones aren't eye safe is because they can stain your skin. Really not an issue. This is shade Anna Nicole, and what I did, I put some off onto my phone case that I use for my foundation, and using a silicone pencil brush, I literally just drew this on. If you follow my mini tutorial on how to put on winged liner, I literally did exactly that, just using this and dipping it into the lipstick. And then off of Amazon for a couple of quid I got 50 of these clean spoolies. So I dipped a spoolie into it and even used it as mascara. And you can see it is just such a, I want to say editorial, but it's not editorial because I wear this out of the house. It's a very dramatic, striking look. And because obviously I'm going to have that on my lips as well, it really will tie the whole face together. But although I put some highlighter on my brow bone and on my inner corner, the rest of my face is currently bereft of highlight. So, going in with my teardrop brush into Sarcophagus, we'll pop a bit on the nose. And when I say a bit, I mean, yeah, a little bit on the chin, and put a little bit on each temple, and then my favourite bit of highlighting. Oh, look at the beautiful wet look. Oh, I love Jeffree's highlighters, I really do. I know they're more expensive, but they last a long time. One thing you will notice with his, if you use a fan brush or a loosely packed brush, you do get hard pan on them a lot, because although they're powdery, they're very creamy. There's a number of ways you can deal with hard pan. You can put sellotape on the top and pull it off, or you can just use a more densely packed brush, which is what I do. You do still tend to get hard pan, but not as quickly. And a more densely packed brush can still pick colour up even with hard pan. So there we go. I am now highlighted. I'm feeling much more like myself. Right, time for the lips. Now, I know a lot of people struggle with doe foot applicators and putting lipstick on. So, I'll zoom you in, show you how I do it. Now, Jeffree's doe foots. Come on, autofocus, do your job. There we go. It's shaped like a chair and it holds quite a bit of product in that dimple. Okay, so we start off with the bottom lip. And yeah, I just got that on my tongue and my teeth. Then we turn it sideways and use the edge of the applicator to line our lips. Okay. Then for the top lip, we use the 45 trick. So you hold it at 45 degrees. This is a great way to define your cupid's bow, or give yourself a cupid's bow if yours isn't very defined. You do a line on your cupid's bow at 45 degrees, keeping it at the same angle. Do the outside of the lip. Okay? Then turn it 45 degrees the other way and repeat. You've now got an M. Okay? So turn it upside down and go from the corner of the mouth to the line you've just made. I need to dip back in. Bearing in mind that all of that was just one dip. Okay. And then just colour in any other bits of your top lip that aren't already covered. It's that easy. It really is. Right, I'm going to zoom you back out again. Right, do you see what I mean about how having your lips the same as your liner really gives you a pow impact? I love, love, love doing this. And you get so many compliments on it as well because people really notice it. You don't have to go as bright as me. I mean, this looks fantastic with like a blossom pink, or a lilac looks really pretty. So now it's time for the proper setting spray, where I liberally douse a lot. Okay? Most people would stop here. But I like to, come on, say it with me, like my makeup to stay put. Right, don't go anywhere. I'm gonna do something with this Barnet and I'll be right back. Hey, told you I wouldn't be long. Okay, so this is the final bright, summery, citrusy look. I hope you enjoyed this, hope you found it fun, and that it's given you maybe a few ideas on different looks you could try. If you liked it, hit that like button for me, subscribe maybe. If you do subscribe, hit the bell button because you will then get told every time I put up a new video. So, all that's left to say for now is take care and I'll see you soon. Bye.